You have everything you need already to start your own video podcast series for your business coming up. What's going on, everybody? My name is Karim Mustafa. I'm co-founder and CEO of Tribe Tactics, and in this series of videos we basically want to give you everything that you need to be able to plan and grow your very own original series for your business. And one of the questions we always get is, hey, I love the idea of starting a video podcast or a video show for my business, but I don't really think I have what it takes. And it could be a psychological thing, it could be a resource thing. And today I'm taking a challenge with you to hopefully share with you the benefits of being able to do that with just what you have right away, and the fact that you do already have everything, whether that's intellectually or whether that is resource wise. So let's jump right in. First of all, on the topic of imposter syndrome, right? And we're gonna probably do another video about that where we go into a bit more detail. But basically, like, you have to recognize that you, as a company, as a personal brand, as a team, you guys have unique experience that nobody else can bring to the table, or perhaps will ever bring to the table. And in a funny way, like, if you don't share what you guys already have and what you already know, and in the way that you do it, it'll probably never see the light of day. Not now, not ever. Lean into that as a differentiator, because even though you may be thinking, okay, but I already have topics A, B, and C in mind, and they've been like covered like a million times in our industry. Well, that's completely fine. I mean, that's the same thing as thinking of, hey, someone already created like a hip hop song, so that whole genre is out. It's ridiculous, of course, because everyone's gonna come in and put their own like unique spin on it. And it's the exact same argument that I would share with you around how, when you start your own show, you'll be able to deliver unique value based on your own unique experiences. Even if you are talking about topics that have been discussed before, you're going to come at it from a different angle in a way that's maybe resonating with people. And maybe they'll thank you for this because they've never actually had that exposure before. They've seen other things, but it never really resonated with them quite like you did. Maybe because you are a smaller company, maybe because you focus on a different niche, um, so on and so forth. So before I get ahead of myself, I'll jump on to the next point, which is you also have plenty of experience and you also have plenty of gear, right? If you have access to Zoom, right, which is completely free, you are already like halfway there. There's so much stuff that you could create using Zoom alone, using your computer and webcam alone. And as well, you have a smartphone. And we always talk about this, but using your smartphones, you could very easily get a lot higher quality video when you track your Zoom recording, and also have a camera running offline, just like totally separately on your smartphone. And you can always take these video feeds, especially if you ask your guests to do the same thing. You can do the call or the podcast on Zoom, but basically take the two smartphone camera feeds and mix them together later to create the actual finished result, which I promise you will be a lot more crisp. And if you have any questions about that, do let us know, because we've done that a lot before. So Zoom and smartphones, and so does your guest, right? They have access to both of these things as well. And again, like, people say, okay, but we want everything to be perfect. And again, we're going to be doing a video on this myth of having everything perfect. But you can always upgrade your gear with time as you go. Let's make sure that you even have a concept that people are buying into to begin with, and then from there you can start to iterate further and upgrade your gear, and do all the things that will make the show a lot fancier and a lot nicer. But just get started with what you have. It's very, very easy, and it's never been easier to do that than right now whenever you're watching this. Cool. So the next point then is, you more than likely already have an audience that's waiting to be engaged. Or if you're just starting from scratch and you have less than 10 people in your audience, and by the way, audience could be anyone that you're connected with on LinkedIn, that you think is relevant to the message that you have to share. It's not only the people who are currently following your company, it's not only the people who are in your email newsletter, it's not only your customers, it's not only your prospects, it's all of these people and all of the other people that you're generally connected with that may start to get attracted to the content and the message that you guys are after once you actually get started with this video podcast. So definitely recognize that you have an audience waiting to be engaged. And if you feel like you don't have that many people, or if you still need to grow an audience, well, guess what? It's a chicken and egg situation. We've heard countless amazing stories of companies that, you know, got their claim to fame through their shows predominantly, and sometimes so much so that companies actually, or rather prospects, you know, they get surprised when they realize that you know the company was actually behind that specific show because they definitely heard of the show before. So this could be your vehicle to actually grow your audience further, and as well simultaneously engage whoever is currently in your audience, so that you can keep them engaged and keep them spreading word of mouth on you, word of mouth about you rather. Cool. Last but not least is that you can also draw from a lot of, again, this is you know, Adam Grant talks about this in his book Originals, and he calls it the first mover disadvantage. And he talks about how sometimes when you see it, in case you have this feeling of, oh well, it's already been done, or someone has already done a video podcast for my industry, you'll realize that, you know, the fact that there's so many people that have went before you, they're never gonna be the same as you once you decide to take the plunge, and B, you now have a pool of inspiration to think about what to do, perhaps what not to do, or maybe even just looking at adjacent industries, complementing industries, basically industries and companies that are totally outside of your scope of focus, just to drive inspiration and ideas from them, which can all help you to get inspiration for your show. And this information may not have necessarily been there when they started out, so you already have that added advantage of seeing more live examples. So to summarize, you definitely have unique experience that you can share in your own specific way, even if the topics have been covered before in your industry. Second of all is you have plenty of gear as it is. If you have access to a webcam, computer, Zoom, smartphones, like everyone has access to these, and you can very easily use that to get started and upgrade later as you see traction. And you'll probably get quicker buy-in that way as well if you think about it, especially if budget is a concern in your company, right? Third of all is you probably already have an audience waiting to be engaged, if not an audience that you are seeking to grow. And what better vehicle than to actually have a video show that they can binge watch week on week, month on month. And then last but not least, you have a ton of shows that you could actually leverage for inspiration and ideas on what you could be doing. All right, guys, I hope this video was valuable for you. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you have any additional questions, we'd be happy to answer them wherever you're watching this. And please do consider subscribing so that you don't miss out on the future videos. And I'll see you in the next one.